Hello, everyone. Hi, Alexander, Richard, Hugo, all my trading warrior brothers and sisters. How's everyone doing today? ECB day today. Let's take a look at what's going on. So I wanted to start with the dollar. Hello, Laura. How are you? Sinatra. Looks like we're getting some news. So this high yesterday in the dollar still could be a bear market rally. And now if we have a quality of this from yesterday's high. Hi, Jamie. Could take the measured move would be, about 170 from here. It's going to take it to 91.10. So still a chance for another wave down in the dollar. Only thing I don't like about it's being led by cable rather than euro today, as expressed in euro pound. Maybe that's all euro pound had in it. With that happening, you're getting a pop in gold. Think gold should run into trouble up here around 1807, another 10 higher. Silver outperforming. So silver actually looks a lot better than gold at this point in time. We just got a pop in the S&Ps here. Hello, Ryan. How are you? So what are you thinking here? What's going on?
Yeah, maybe a bit of disappointment for the taperers on this one. Bit of a nothing meeting or nothing announcement. We'll have to see what Lagarde says.
Yeah. So we're getting this pop in euro. I think there's a shot for another high over, looks like almost like a little double top here, right here.
Yeah, I think the risk for the presser is going to be how unanimous everyone was, where were the dissenters, what's the argument going on. I think that's going to drive it. Plus, she still might, start talking about a tapering, but I think she's going to keep it very, very low key. She's not going to let any cats out the bags here.
Okay. And today, 10 years, aren't acting terrible. Of course, it didn't hold this breakout, but it could be just a normal pullback before we go, but pretty good yen weakness. Any reason for that it failed up here and it looks ugly now?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's just the bond moves again. You just can't get a break, can't get a big move, can't hold a gain in yields, and the yen gets affected by it. I'm beginning to wonder if maybe the election stuff's starting to come in, or the leadership contest going on in now. Different people starting to throw their hats into the ring, but I think mostly at the moment it's just on these yield moves.
Okay. All right. A little pop in the metals today. Commodity currencies. Any feel for that? Could Aussie, just like euro, blow to new highs here? Do you think?
Yeah. The key level is going to be that 74 handle. I think. If it's going to get back on track, it's going to have to get above there. I'm potentially looking at it for a short, just to test the level on a first test, see if this move is real or if we're stuck in this bearish phase. Of course, as far as commodities goes, we've still got more ships running aground in the Suez Canal again. So,
oh gosh, yeah. So the Aussie and euro look pretty similar, almost identical. Look at that.
Yeah. But doesn't that tell you it's a lot? There's a lot of a USD story behind that.
Yeah, and USD, like I was saying before, we could fail one more time and have one of these from here would take us down to about the 91 level.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Up until the no taper, S&Ps were about 10 lower. They've come back. Weak currency should be supportive of stock indexes, supporting the NASDAQ right now. And oil, tough call.
Yeah,
I have a hard time.
Doesn't know what it wants to do, does it?
Yeah. So ship successfully floated. Okay, they got that ship out. Shipping it's unbelievable what's happening at the ports, and then even before they get to the ports. I've heard that if you want to buy, Christmas toys for your kids, you better grab them now.
You know what the funny thing is? All the shops around here are starting. All the big supermarkets are starting to put in their Christmas stuff.
Okay.
In September. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So
I think that's a sign of trying to get ahead of any shortages.
that could be. People that wait for the last minute for things to go on sale. From what I'm hearing, isn't going to happen. You're going to have to pay premium prices to get things so your kids don't cry.
And this stuff's coming out before morning. This stuff's coming out before the Halloween stuff's coming in the shops.
That is really spooky, man.
Good luck for your Thanksgiving. You might have to go out and hunt your own turkeys, mate.
Maybe. So I'm not much of a hunter. Maybe Blake will go out. Blake will go out and shoot a few. Want to bring the general in and Steve and Stelio. So
wait a second. I missed the whole reason. I must have missed why you said that, Ryan, about the turkeys. And by the way, Dale, I'm not a hunter, and I only hunt things that'll hunt me back.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
They hunt me back. I'll go after them. But not.
I hear there's some good what they call those wild pigs, Helvina or some Helvina out there in Arizona.
Javelinas.
Yeah, Javelinas. That's it. Yeah.
No. So, I'm talking. I don't hunt animals. Let's just put it that way.
I know. I couldn't do it. I couldn't pull it. I couldn't. I'd be like De Niro in The Deer Hunter, and not be able to pull the trigger.
So where's the turkey issue coming from? What's that all
shortages,
about?
Shortages.
Just mentioning shortages, and that the shops around here are already loading up with their Christmas stuff. The trees and tinsels, and this is even before they've got Halloween stuff on the shelves.
Oh wow, that's nuts. I don't know what it is around here. It's like it's in the middle of summer, and we already see Halloween stuff up and around the grocery store. I don't know why they do that. Well, I mean, obviously they want to get ahead of the curve, but every year it seems like it gets earlier and earlier and earlier. I don't know what. I don't know why, but anyway, let's talk a little bit about the ECB. So the PEP purchases are going to be slightly lower than what was expected previously, or slower than the previous amount that we had, right?
Yeah, but they've not put a number on it.
What's that?
They've not put a number on it. They've kept that purposely out of it. So they've just made it, never mind. We've just
moderately lower pace. I mean, I was going to ask you, what does that mean? But I guess we'll be finding out what that means more at the presser.
Yeah, it's fluff. I mean, I said it in the chat room, they can adjust the PEP and put out the old, well, we said, we've got the envelope and we said we might not use the full envelope and we can adjust it as and when we need it. It's all to just make sure that the world knows this is not a taper. This is just them, tinkering around the edges.
So I guess the question would be, do you the euro, just here, let me go ahead and take over here. And by the way, I just want to say, if you guys have been listening to the hold on, you know what? I got to do a couple of things. I'm gonna keep the chart on you. I want to try to make sure that hold on. Let's see. I'm gonna
nice chart of the day yesterday.
So we're going back to talking turkey, Dale?
What's that?
We're going back to talking about turkeys while Blake's filling.
Yeah, I like the dark meat.
All right. Sorry about that. I want to make sure I just tweet out the link so people can come in and listen, because it's something that we need that needs to be discussed. But I'm going to go ahead and take over here. But let's talk about just like the price action of the euro really quick. And let me get rid of this trend line. We don't need that. So when we were, if you go back to the week ahead video, we talked about the euro just basically getting mid-range ahead of the ECB. Now, obviously, we just had the ECB rate decision, but we all know that the rate decision, unless they announce something, concrete or really outside of expectations, like let's say, I think the PEP program is 80 billion euros a month. I think that's what the number is right now. Correct 60. Me if I'm wrong. Is it 60?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I think total QE is 80. You got 60 in the PEP and 20.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. So let's just say that number, they threw a number at it and they said, the PEP was going to be at 40 billion. And it was like a hard number and people go, wow, that's a little bit, more than, we thought. Then, you would have seen a bigger reaction, I think, right at the, right at these announcements. But usually what we're going to be waiting for is we're going to be waiting for the presser. So ahead of the presser, it makes sense that now that we've got, okay, well, we know that the bottom of the range is here, the top of the range is here. We are basically mid-range. And this is where you got to expect yourself before big events, and I often say this when we have like it's a jobs report or an interest rate decision, or, even if people are really looking for inflation data for that particular month, whatever data that's coming out, that's going to be a market mover, especially if the market is not trending, you're going to find yourself mid-range. And the good news is when you find yourself mid-range, you kind of know where the fringes are. Like, I know right now, if the euro breaks 119, it's hugely bullish for the euro. And also if we break below this 50% retracement, which is all this horizontal support, it's probably going to be pretty bearish for the euro. I mean, the good news is we know where these levels are at now. And like I said, during the week ahead video, we, and all week this week, we're probably going to find ourselves mid-range. So hopefully you weren't chasing the euro on the short side below 118. And that's like, the big risk. And I think that, if you guys have been listening to the, Morning Edge webinar, you've been very well prepared with, the currencies in range, knowing where all the support and resistance levels were. So now that we're here, Ryan, what's gonna press the euro really to highs? I mean, because we're now, we're coming off of our highs right now. People are probably like, okay, it's squeezed enough. You look at like the intraday price action, you got hourly charts squeezed right above the highs, squeezed out anybody who was trying to short through the ECB headline. And, they probably were short, got stopped out. Okay. So now we're pretty neutral at this point. What's going to put the euro higher today?
I think there's two things to look at. Firstly is, we've had a 15 pip move over the announcement, which is small even for the ECB. That in itself tells a story to me. That tells me that expectations are still pretty low. We looked at some research pieces, people going about, they expect a taper to this, taper to that, PEP change this. And the fact that we haven't moved on what is potentially a disappointing those expectations shows me that the real expectations, real pricing into an event is not happening just yet. So we're not at the stages of the Fed 4 or 5 months ago where the taper argument started and, the market got excited into each meeting, got disappointed, came back the next meeting. We're not seeing that price action. So that's the first instance. In the second instance, what's going to move the euro? I think what's going to move the euro now, and particularly higher, is if Lagarde starts opening up about who's putting the pressure on at the governing council members, pushing for a taper, pushing for stimulus to be withdrawn. I think if she alludes that that's getting stronger and that the balance is shifting hawkishly towards a taper, towards ending some of these measures, that's what's going to kick the euro on today.
Okay,
and she could be just as dovish, and we're back down under 118.
Yeah, and
what I would say is,
sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, last thing. And what I was going to say is, if there's a big comment, if she says, for example, that there's pressure to taper and it's growing and they're going to look at it and the euro pops, just be careful if it looks like it hasn't gone as much as it should, because what tends to happen is people want to wait until the final risk of the presser is out of the way and then it on. So if she says, oh yes, we're looking to taper, and it moves up 40 pips, you think this should go up 100 pips. Sometimes the market can just wait in case there's a headline further down the road, and then it kicks on. So watch for that second wind.
Great. Okay, that's some pretty good advice, especially for people that are unfamiliar with trading the ECB press conference, Ryan. So thank you. And I have to say, we always approach, whether it's it's the Fed or the ECB, and not so much the Bank of England, as of late, but we approach some of these press conferences with these central banks, expecting them to be a little bit more hawkish, and unsurprisingly, they always end up feeding the hands of the doves, and as equity markets continue to grind higher. And one of the things I want to point out, and I don't think that we're going to see a big move in equities based on what the ECB is saying. But the one thing I do need to point out is yesterday I tweeted about
Your chart of the day.
Well, it wasn't that chart, Dale.
Oh.
But yes, that too. And we talked about that in the chat room this morning.
Yeah.
But here's the DAX, and this I tweeted it out using the Forex Analytics Twitter handle about the DAX, and the DAX is we broke the first major trend line here. The green you can see in green, and then we had another ascending wedge really that we were testing yesterday, and today we broke below, and we actually came really close to the 618 retracement. But look at this, as of right now, a false breakdown. And unless the ECB is extremely hawkish, and it looks like they're really going to start to taper. I mean, that could be good for the euro, but that could actually turn stocks a little bit lower. But I think the reason why the DAX is actually rallying from here is because they know that Christine Lagarde's probably going to just end up being dovish anyway. So, and I think that's going to support equities. But you can see that false breakdown here in the DAX, and then also, as Dale you were just saying, a little false breakdown in the Dow too. So, think about this, guys, is, you have these central bankers that continue to be extremely dovish, and tapering is going to end up being a long process. And as Steve has mentioned here many times, raising rates may never happen in our lifetime. Who knows? But
it will. I showed you the picture of when it would happen.
Yeah, when Powell was like 90. So
just before
Jim Welsh, yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Sorry, just before I hop off in a moment, because I'm going to get ready for the guard speaking. I'm just watching the price action now, and one thing that's sticking out is that we're seeing a bit of dollar weakness. We're seeing it in the Aussie versus CAD, yen, pound. Euro's not really moving. So here's something to look at potentially for a trade. If this dollar's weakening, but the euro's not, because we're waiting for this ECB presser risk, and we get nothing out this presser at all, look for the euro to then catch up to the dollar weakness. It's going to get on the train as everyone else is. So it could mean we do see this pushing up towards 119. Just a little bit of price action to note there.
All right, very good. And I think one of the ways you can express that is actually through some of the euro crosses. Like the euro sterling's down today, and we're trying to crack through this channel support. This can also be like more range bound than anything. It could end up being more range bound than anything. In just kind of sideways price action. But what you're saying here is, maybe the euro plays catch up to some of these other currencies. You can play it in, the euro sterling, euro Aussie, euro New Zealand. Those are different ways that you quite possibly play the euro if you wanted to just get the dollar out of the equation. So thanks, Ryan, for your comments. We'll see you in the Forex Analytics chat room, by the way. And for those of you that do not know here, this is the Forex Analytics chat room. You can see it right here. And this is the Forex Flow live chat. That's where Ryan, as they've merged over, we have two chat rooms, and people kind of universally go through them both. We have our news and research room here, and then our trades room where we're putting in trades. Our general chat room, we have a Spanish chat room as well for our people. So anyway, if you want to see where Ryan's at and where all of us are at, make sure you join in the Forex Analytics community. So let's hear from Stelios, because I think Steve stepped away from his desk. He should be back here momentarily.
I'm here.
Both of you guys are here. All right, very good. How you doing, guys? Good morning.
I want to hear about your technique on hunting turkeys, or what was it, chickens or whatever.
I told you I do not. Snipes. There we go. We hunt the snipes. By the way, I did see the movie Up this weekend as I was with my nephew, and I
love that.
That movie actually wrecks you right at the beginning. It is the most. What kind of cartoon do you or animated
movie with the old guy?
My gosh, you watched the first 10 minutes and I was in tears. Anyway, all right. So
okay.
What's going on?
My view on the ECB, clearly a disappointment. And
for who?
For people who expected them to do a little bit more. So dovish, they're disappointing to the dovish side.
If you're a Euro bull, it's been fine, right? Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
But the question is, I think the market's just not doing anything now because we're all waiting, just like Ryan said, for the presser. But it's disappointing because I think the market kind of expected the ECB to start doing a little bit more, at least telling us they're going to be doing a little bit more, and not something vague and completely, it's as if they've said nothing, basically. So we're waiting for Lagarde to specify. If she doesn't give us anything concrete, I think the euro is not going to like it. The question we need to ask is, what do these people need to see for them to start properly tapering? We are in the middle, this PEP program. It's supposed to be an emergency program after the COVID situation. Well, we're recovering, right? I'm not saying that the European economy is flying. Of course it isn't. And neither is the American one, neither is the UK one. But we've come through the whole COVID thing. Yes, it's not over, but with vaccinations being prevalent everywhere, I think the death rate is going lower, and so we are kind of handling the problem. So what are you waiting for when you've got inflation at 3% in the Eurozone? Reported inflation, that is, 5% in the US or whatever it is. What are you waiting for? You have to be acting now. They will have no gunpowder, no ammunition when the poop hits the fan, which it will at some point. So once again, they're just so far behind the curve, and I don't get it. I don't understand it.
So don't you want? I know. So for people that don't know, Stelios, both you and Steve live in Athens, Greece, not Athens, Georgia. You guys live in Athens, Greece, and you guys have moderate inflation. Obviously, here in the U.S., we're dealing with a lot more, I would say, more aggressive inflationary pressures at this time. Don't you guys want to experience what we're experiencing?
Oh, yeah.
I have to say, we're lucky here because for me personally, my kids' school fees have not gone up in years. My healthcare premium is the same for the last 3-4 years. So inflation there is zero for us, or close to. And I have friends in the US and, you, Blake, and everything. And from what I understand, this is not the case. But, my question is to these guys, what do you need to see to start actually tapering properly? I'm not talking about rate hikes. Rate hikes is a different thing, but remove this extraordinary facilities for us, which were put out for a specific job, and the job is done.
So let me ask you another. We are in emergency monetary policy since 2008. Have we ever completely removed the quote unquote emergency measures taken in 2008? No. I don't think they will remove anything. They will keep piling them up and adding them until, until something really breaks. It's more than obvious.
So let me ask you guys this. So with the euro, and I asked Ryan the same question when he was here a little bit earlier before he popped out, hunting snipes. Sorry. So
snakes.
Sorry, snakes. Or whatever you got, whatever you people in the UK say.
Snakes on a plane.
So let me ask you this, Delio, Steve. What has to happen for the euro to turn higher at this point? So what's going to turn the euro higher, dollar weaker, keep stocks elevated, or does a taper, and if we get some sort of number behind it, does that actually have a negative impact on stocks and a positive impact on the euro? What do you guys think here? We got 5 minutes before we have to switch over to Dale.
I don't know, Steve.
I don't want to keep repeating myself, guys.
Then don't. All right,
it's a race to the
recording.
It's a race to the bottom, having to do with the currency wars, right? Nobody wants to make the first step. Nobody wants to be more hawkish than the other one. So it's all about, a very sensitive equilibrium that, in my opinion, is eventually going to tilt in favor of the euro. If told before.
I personally think the market is pricing in quite a bit more from the US than it is from Europe. So if we do get a whole, central bank, kind of all central banks in line being more dovish and not tapering and not hiking, or basically being more dovish than expected, then the dollar is going to suffer more, which I think then is going to put euro dollar higher and stocks higher as well, which means the yields are going to be low, and we're going to have the same situation we've had for the past few years.
All right. I appreciate both of you guys' comments. One of the things I have to just mention really quick before we hand it over to Dale is the continued weakness in precious metals. And this is the one thing that just, I really struggle personally. I really struggle being too big of a dollar bear right now, with precious metals just grossly underperforming. We've been sitting here looking at the gold market, expecting, it's like everybody's waiting for gold to explode higher because inflation's moving higher, and because inflation and pressures are moving up across the board, universally, globally. Everybody believes that gold is going to move higher, and yet it's not. And I'm not saying that it's not bullish intraday.
You know what, Blake? The DSI refutes that. We've been in the 20s in gold for I don't know how long, a month or so. So
yeah, and daily sentiment is down. I want to say it's like 12 or
that keeps me from being too bearish. The precious metals, no one likes them.
You're right. No one does like them, but at the same time, they're not being bought either. And that's why I get a little worried about being too much of a dollar bear, because I'm not seeing precious metals reflected. If gold was, breaking above 1850, I might be singing a different tune, but right now I'm a little worried. And then one last thing I need to point out for you guys. Look, I was talking with K-Man, and by the way, in our chat rooms, one of Ryan's team members, K-Man, in the chat room is, he's a wealth of knowledge, and I really appreciate him being in the Forex analytics community now. And the US dollar and Norwegian krona is one of those currencies that is constantly on my radar. It's on my radar because I trade it quite actively, and it's one of like those bigger swinging currencies percentage wise. And for those of us that are looking for volatility in the markets, when you can trade a currency like this, they'll get a 1% swing, from time to time. It's fun to trade. Anyway, and I was just caught on the wrong side of this, I guess last week, just trying to play it on the long side here off of this channel. And then when it fell through the support, I got stopped out. Anyway, we were talking about the US dollar Norwegian krona as it was pushing up against the 873 level, because this is the neckline of the double top. And he mentioned, him and I were talking about it, and he said, if we break above that 873 level, that's going to, be a risk off. I'm going to shelve all my risk on trades after that. And I'm like, yeah, me too, because if you start to see Norway roll over and, you get people that got caught short, a lot of people, like a lot of institutional guys, a lot of big money guys like to hide out in holding Norway, want to reap the carry benefits, buy Norway, sell dollars. And I bet a lot of them were, leveraging into long Norway, short dollars on this breakdown below 873. We get it back above that, and I think it's going to be up for a very good squeeze. And that's going to also be signaling me risk off. And the fact that this thing is not playing out lower has me very, very bullish. I was long at 868 this week, and I sold it yesterday at 872 or 871.80 or something like that, like when it was up here. But I'm ready actually to be long this thing again. So if the euro rolls over today and we start to see the euro weaken, this is the one where I'm going to be playing it. I'm going to be playing the dollar on the long side. And again, I have to reiterate, gold's not going anywhere. Silver's not going anywhere. It makes me very skeptical about being short dollars. All right. And I'm going to leave it at that. I want to say thanks, Steve Stelios, for always your comments coming in. And Ryan, I know he's listening to the ECB presser. He's in our chat rooms, making sure that the Forex analytics folks are up to speed. Again, here's our chat rooms. You can see everybody in there. And then we have like Amanda and, there's Ryan in there and a lot of the other crew. And I want to say, Dale, have a great interview today.
All right.
Blake,
Thank you, Blake.
we got jobless claims, by the way. I didn't want to interrupt you because
what they come in at?
Yeah,
slightly better and continuing claims, slightly worse. So really nothing.
Yeah, almost nothing to write home about. In comparison,
I have one question, Steve. Why are you paying attention to something that doesn't matter?
Because a lot of people are still watching jobs data.
Well, okay, I'm glad Blake convinced you that even though certain things don't matter to you, that it may matter to some other people.
There we go. So good. Thanks for bringing that up. And by the way, yeah, and I think it's being overshadowed by the ECB today. But thanks for bringing that up. And by the way, for those of you that are Forex Analytics subscribers, you do have data flash here, which shows you that the data about as fast as Bloomberg will report it. So, and sometimes in some cases even faster. So you find that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Feature.
Raj is telling me to leave you alone, Steve. He doesn't know how much I love and respect you and what I think of your work. So I can't pick on you anymore. So
you can
anyway,
pick on me as
Steve,
much as
I love to hear you repeat yourself, interrupt people, everything. I'm a fan. Anyway, good luck today, everybody, team. Good luck, good hunting, and want to welcome Olivier Tischendorf back to Face. Welcome back, Olivier. How are you, buddy? Great to have you back. I'm going to ask you to unmute so we could hear words of wisdom and pearls of wisdom. How are you, Olive? How are you?
Hi, Dale. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear. Welcome back. What's it been, about 3 months or so since we last talked?
Yes.
What has changed?
My account went up.
Your account. That's a great one. All right, so that's ever changing, huh?
I couldn't miss this opportunity if you ask that way. What do I need to click?
You see the green share
my
button?
Screen. Just 1 second. Can you see it?
That's one of the best answers I've heard in a long time. Okay, so I know I know you were, pretty much a bull. Except when things were, giving you negative signals, but you were constructive the market the last time. So your account has changed for the better. Is that during this melt up? Am I guessing right?
Yeah, I'm still expecting a melt up. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we've got NVIDIA up there.
Yeah. I still don't know how to annotate these charts, but the problem is if I annotate them, I need another software, and then with Zoom, it's going to be too complicated. So we're gonna,
Okay, well, you could use your cursor to
yeah,
point out
it shouldn't be a big problem.
the
You can also
breakaway
use
gap.
Zoom to annotate.
Pardon?
You can also use Zoom to annotate. Zoom has an annotate function.
Where?
Just go to the drop-down panel that you can see when you share the screen, and one of the buttons there has to do with annotation. I don't remember the exact name of it, but it's not that there are many options. You'll find it.
Just drew a line.
How do I remove that?
There is a within the same menu. There is like erase all
There you go.
drawings kind of
Easy
thing.
get.
Is there a freehand tool?
Whatever you see there. I mean, it's rather limited, but still, enough to do them.
Okay. So okay. Well, can you see the annotation?
Yes.
Okay,
we can.
So basically, I think we did the interview. I initially bought here, and I think we did the interview somewhere here. I don't remember exactly. And I was basically just a quick summary. I was saying.
Go ahead, take a victory lap.
Pardon?
Go ahead, take your victory lap.
No, I mean, it's just a recap of what we talked about.
Yeah, I know.
Last time. So basically the idea was that I was thinking there was a shift away from Tesla to NVIDIA, and so far it has played out. Now, Tesla might be back in play. I actually hold onto NVIDIA until I think somewhere here, and I bought back somewhere here. So I avoided holding through earnings, and I wanted to see how the stock reacted to earnings. And then after strength re-emerged, I bought back into NVIDIA.
Is it one of the leaders in the semiconductor group? Is it in the SMH?
I would assume so. I mean, it has a market cap of 550 billion now, so it's probably it's in the SMH and probably also in the NASDAQ 100, I would assume. So I would say with Taiwan Semiconductor, TSM, these two are the biggest players. And yeah, the story with NVIDIA is that it's the AI king. So everything that's or everybody who thinks that or believes that AI is going to be the next big thing, NVIDIA is going to be, that would be assuming the bull market goes on, if we see a bear market, then obviously everything's going to get dragged down. But again, I think we're, it's, zero interest rate environment,
semiconductor shortage. Are they taking advantage of the shortage by having more production than its peers?
That's a fundamental question. I'm not. I have absolutely no idea. I stick with the charts, and the charts tell me if something is in demand or not. And you just talked about gold, why everybody's expecting to gold to, that was the previous interview you just did. And and the thing is, you watch price, gold is not moving, or mining stocks or whatever,
they don't,
and then you don't touch them until they start moving, and then you avoid all the assumptions about anything related to fundamentals. So that's the way I play it. So
well, it's really been the big cap tech, mega cap tech that's really led the way here the last couple of months. The FANGs, the MAGAs.
Yes, but I see a switch, and
another rotation coming out of them into what?
into more like mid cap, smaller cap stuff. I mean, I'm not saying micro cap stuff, but stuff like
in the Russell 2000, those kinds of.
Yes and no. I'm more like, what kind of market cap, and I would say everything between 10 and 20 billion. That's starting to catch a bid. And if we see a melt up phase, the more aggressive stock, the stuff that is perceived to be more risky is going to catch more of a bid. And then I think and again, my melt up scenario is like, I'm expecting, the strong seasonal period, as in November, December, January, possibly so February, to really, where things could really heat up. That doesn't mean we cannot see a correction beforehand, but I think that.
I mean, aren't we already in a melt up, Olivier? It's not like we're waiting for a melt up to begin. I mean, if you look at the chart, pretty parabolic on the indexes.
Well, the indexes, but most people, I would assume, if you read what's happening on Twitter, etc.,
they're nervous. They're bearish.
They're bearish, and they haven't made as much money as the indices would suggest. So basically what we've been seeing is a very choppy sideways market, and only the best stock pickers have really benefited from this, let's call it run up.
Ever hear of this guy, Olivier Tischendorf? Would you put him in that category as one of the best stock pickers out there on FinTwit?
I'm not going to comment on it's everything is out there. You can see what stocks I'm trading, and so I just want to talk about the bad pick. How do I get back to? I need to remove that first.
You could do a new share if it's on a different screen, or
no, it's because of. Can you see the new chart?
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Okay, so that was also
Silver
I was like hedging myself. Nvidia and Pars. Those were the two big stocks we discussed last time. I don't remember. It probably was around here, and I was like. Maybe this is an ABC pattern in the making, and then when the stock got down here, that was game over for me, and then I sold my position. So it's basically, I can be super bullish on something, but when the facts change, I change my mind, and that's it. And so there's not much else to say. And again, going back to what I just said, or what you were talking about with regards to gold beforehand. I can be as bullish as I want.
Change in a day if your contingency is negated.
Yeah, and it's it's now trending below, trading or living below the moving averages here. You can be bullish, but the chart tells me don't touch it, and that's it, and that's what I do. I don't trade against the charts, so to speak. And going back to your question with regards to stock picking. Again, this is a semi-log scale or even log scale. I don't know how to change that here with that software. So where's the annotation to?
Yeah, wow, what a move.
Exactly. And the thing is,
was this an IPO, a fairly new?
Yeah, actually, this is where the chart started. Trading. I think.
Never looked back from the IPO price. That's unusual. Usually we start out at some type of high and then it sells off in the kind of discovery stage where people are doing due diligence on it. But this one,
that's a complete trading history. You see. That's. I think we talked about that with Fastly in our first interview. The best way to trade IPOs is to basically wait until they have a trading history of 10 month, 12 month, 14 month, and then the due diligence phase is over, and you can see that here with the with this move here. So basically, you have two moves that created two big gaps, and this was too early here because we have a trading history of, let's say, roughly, I'm drawing here in the timeline here, so maybe 3 months or something like that. So this is too early for a sustained breakout like that to the upside, right? And then the stock settles down, or the charts, or the volatility contracts. Although, make no mistake, this is huge volatility. And then, to me, this is, I talked about that I talk about this stuff in more detail in my premium videos. This, to me, is the confirmation of this good news here. So there's good news. And then,
were they earnings report, Olivier?
Yeah, that's earnings related gaps to the upside. Yeah. And now this is, many doubters, but again, this is raw power, as I like to call it. This is RSI strength, and this is typically when whenever the RSI crosses the 70 line here. You can't see it because it's covered here, but this is the 70 line. This is when beginning traders, I don't know where exactly, somewhere here, probably with a gap here, and I often get this question, when do you buy, and I always say I buy the first day when the stock gaps up. And actually, I don't want to get the best price. At least I usually don't want to. I want to see if
let me ask you this.
If it closes at the high, and then I buy. Go ahead.
Okay, so you wait for the close, okay? Because you could have gap openings
exactly
that the gap ends up not remaining intact by the end of the day, and I see you usually using daily charts. So I
like to buy 10 minutes into the close, because then it's pretty obvious if we get a white candle, and I want the stock to trade near the high of the day, because that indicates that that there's strong demand. So we had a kind of hammer candle, and the problem here was that the market was very, very weak, and so that was additional incentive for me or an additional reason for me to wait for the end of the trading day to see how this big gap. If it would hold, even in the face of a weak market, and then you see the result here. And again, this is very, very difficult. I would not recommend, initiating a position here, but this is, maybe we get a melt up, and melt up in this case, I would define it as, pick these kind of levels here with a volume. So basically, I would say if we get volume that matches or exceeds this, maybe if we get a volume bar that exceeds or matches this level here, plus maybe another gap up, that would be something where I would at least take partial profits.
Okay.
But this is not what I want to give you or present you for your viewers, because this is, one could argue for this to already have made its move. I don't believe it, but I want to show you stuff where your listeners and everybody who watches the video can really benefit from. It's something I've talked about in my latest premium video, and it's basically as if you were a subscriber now. This is the stuff I need to remove.
Another semiconductor.
Yep. I don't know how to remove it.
There, you're doing it.
I just need to click until everything is gone. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to the weekly chart, Actually, I'm going to switch to the monthly chart. So micro analysis, what I like to call, not in a fundamental sense, but macro, big picture, micro zooming into the daily chart. So if you start with the monthly chart, you see, the complete trading history here, and you tune out the noise basically. And this is a huge cup with handle pattern. You even see the gap here. This is you see the chart, sorry, the RSI getting above the 70 level again here, crossing the 70 level. This is extremely bullish. You can see that here when we have an RSI level that is consistently trading above 70 here. This is when amateurs, beginning traders sell. This is when professionals start to buy, assuming you're a growth and momentum trader. And this is the kind of move you can get. I'm super bullish this stock. Again, and for psychological reasons, this is these gaps are what I would call, catching the market by surprise. This is information the market participants were not prepared for, and therefore they need to readjust. That is, they need
look
to
at
build
highest
position.
volume day that day. And was that an earnings report as well?
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm saying amateurs. What I basically mean to say is, people with, let's say, less than 5 years or 10 years of trading experience, and they're like, they don't like to buy into strength, and invariably so. The question is always, when is this gap going to be filled? I'm going to buy when this gap is going to get filled. This is completely wrong, because if the gap gets filled, then it means that the stock is not worth buying, because it's a fake breakout or something like that. And you can see this is starting to build a small bullish flag. Remember, upstart, the gap up, consolidation, you have to be patient here. This can take another 2 or 3 days, maybe even 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. But ultimately, if this should go higher, and when I say higher, I mean much higher. So let's say maybe 200 or something like that. Again, RSI strength probably created by this gap up and this candle. Look what happens when RSI strength starts. Yeah. This is exactly the same pattern. I'm not drawing through the candle here so that you see it, but this is what triggers this RSI 70 cross, the crossing of the 70 line here with RSI. I'm expecting great things with this one. And again, this is, I encourage everybody to go to their website if they're interested in what they're doing, CV, computer vision stuff, also combined with AI. So that's all related to security cameras and autonomous driving, cameras, sensors, well, not sensors, but cameras for cars, etc. ADAS. I don't know what it stands for, but you get the idea. Autonomous driving. Autonomous driving assistance systems. I think it's ADAS. This is where you want to buy. And again, I think Upstart and Pars or Nvidia, if this thing falters, I'm out. So a good rule of thumb is, the midpoint of a big white candle, that should definitely be support. So if the stock moves below that, closes below that, I'm definitely out. I would expect this level here to hold 100.
Do you use hard stops or a mental stop?
In this case, no, because there's so much momentum. I don't want to get shaken out or I don't want to, place a stop loss here and then, you see an open and then the stock does something like that,
Well, what if you see an open and it continues lower? What do you do then?
As
you
I
just
said,
get out at the market?
I get out at the market, yeah. If it's, let's say 125.
And sometimes is that at a worse level than where you're, if you had a stop in? Because you didn't have a stop in, you end up.
Well, no, if you have a stop and it gaps through your stop, you don't get executed at your stop price. You get executed where the stock is actually trading at. So a stop won't help you in that case anyway. So. No, I'm watching the markets on a daily basis. I'm in front of my screen when the market opens for at least 1 hour or 2 hours, and then I get a good idea what's going to happen if we see strength or weakness. And so this is basically, I'm going to remove all the annotations. Do you have any questions here or something?
No, I would say a theme running through your picks is semiconductors, and along with Upstart not being a semiconductor. You remain constructive on NVIDIA and Ambarella and Upstart, and even if there's a correction, you're expecting seasonal strength to begin in November and December. Did I encapsulate it okay?
Excellent, fantastic recap. I would say that I would expect strength to begin even before November. So maybe October, even mid of October. I think that's when things are going to heat up. I could be wrong, but as I like to say, if you're in the strongest stocks, this is your best insurance you can have, because the best stocks are the ones that get sold at the very end. So if we were to see a topping process, and again, tops are not one-day events, the tops are processes, it takes a long time before something rolls over, and the weakest stocks are the ones that are going to get sold first. So basically the insurance idea is
own quality.
A super strong stock will give you enough time to sell it without getting really hurt. And this is why I always recommend focusing on strong stocks. So again, here, this is the same idea. Let me open the annotation tool. You see the first run up here. And as I said, with Upstart, this is confirmation. This is the first sign that something really big is happening here. Then the stock basically goes or moves sideways or goes nowhere for what is it, 6 months, something like that. And then this is now confirmation of this initial sign of strength. And I mean, this is massive volume. This is again, you see the cross of the 70 line here. This is raw power. This is something big is happening here. This is not me, but I mean, I bought the stock. But in this case, I waited 2 or 3 days. I actually bought somewhere here. Because I was so aggressively invested with other stuff that I didn't want to really push it. And then I decided I needed to sell something else to be able to buy this one.
Yeah, that was a Fed. Okay, so best way for people to follow you, Olivier?
Let me close this. How do I?
Just click on it. There you go. There's your letter showing.
Exactly. I don't know how to remove the other. Anyway,
okay. You don't have to. That's the only thing showing is your Tischendorf letter.
Exactly. But I wanted to open the one. It's covered by this bar. I can remove it. So you can go. You just again, you just have to correctly spell my last name here, Tischendorf, and then you can find me everywhere. You click on the premium stuff, or you can follow me on Twitter. And then if you go to the premium stuff, you click on subscribe, and there you have a description of what I
do.
What I do exactly, what you get, the kind of stuff I'm focusing on, and so that should answer all your questions. And again, if you can just follow me on Twitter, there you will get a good idea of what I do, how I think. And yeah, that's
Anthony is saying, great take on how to trade these melt-up stocks. Nice job, and thank you for the analysis.
Yeah, you're most welcome. If I can make another comment, this is, you know, if you're really a beginner, you know, don't do this. You know, start slowly, use small position sizes. This is something I've been basically preparing for almost 25 years. And this is, you know, you need to understand why this works. You need to be, I would say you need to be consistently profitable in order to be able to trade that way. So this is not stuff I would recommend for complete beginners, but start getting familiar with, you know, the psychological aspects. Why are these stocks moving? And again, as a quick recap, this is where beginning traders think, oh, it's too high, this is over. No, this is often, if you have pattern pressure, if it's the right stock, if it's the right environment, this is the beginning of a potentially big move. So this is basically what most people don't understand.
Well, I want to wish you a great trading season coming up this fall, Olivier, and thank you for sharing your views and your looks to our community. Thank you, my trading warrior brother, for showing us how you trade markets that gap up on earnings and are extended, and that your philosophy that being in the relative strength leaders is a way to ensure against dramatic losses, because they hold up better when the environment isn't as good. So thank you, Olivier.
Fantastic recap. Exactly my thoughts. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a great pleasure. I assume you'll send me an email or on Twitter when this is available on YouTube, and then I'll share it with my Twitter followers.
You got it.
Excellent.
You got it. So it's a deal, and I'll be in touch with you on Twitter. Everyone, you could follow Olivier at Tischendorf and go to his website. And as you could tell by his demeanor, he lives it and breathes it. And so with that being said, good hunting the rest of the day. You could join the crew in 13 minutes on the Morning Edge. And don't just count your individual issues and equities, count your blessings. And we'll see everyone to wrap up the week tomorrow. Adios, and thanks again, Olivier.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.